Hello guys, I am back from another video and today we're talking about what Deku was in Hazbin Hotel. So, in the last year Deku, well, after a bit of talking with his employee, well, Izuku decides to go off and basically kill some annoying people that are basically annoying his employers. So, a bit of shopping with his maid. Apparently she spilled the beans and she said that her real name was well Kendo. So yeah, and also after a bit of talking with half and half, Izuku realized that her real name was Shoto Todoroki, the son of the number one, or at least the number two hero. So yeah, after Izuku got back to well his mansion, Izuku was knocked out by a mysterious man saying that Miss Velvet wants to talk to you. So yeah, so let's talk about what happens next. So when Izuku wakes up, he's in a really nice bedroom. A bit too, how do I say it, gaudy. It has several trendy items, mostly things that are pretty trendy in hell right now. Mostly this band. Izuku doesn't have time for this. Izuku hears the door open. Izuku sees Velvet herself. As Velvet says this, "Oh, Izuku, so you're finally awake." Izuku says this, "My name is Nightwalker, and stop calling me by my old name." As she says this, fine. I only got one thing to ask you, Izuku Midoriya." Izuku says this, "I said it's night," as she says this. Anyway, let's just talk about something important. Apparently, there was this guy that, stole from my father's. Ezekiel says this. Wait, really? She says this. Yeah, so apparently he stole this special book which allowed him to go into the human world. So I made you to hunt him down. Ezekiel says this. So what's his name? She says this. His name was, Lemony Snicket, or something like that. Ezekiel says this. Lemony Snicket. So, can you at least untie me? So I can just get ready? She says this. Sorry, but I want to have some fun with you. Ezekiel says this. Don't you fucking dare. She says this. Come on. You're going to be my boyfriend soon, so how would we have some fun? She starts crawling towards Izuku with heart eyes. Izuku says this. No, 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 no. Don't you freaking dare try and... She forces a kiss on Izuku. Izuku says this. Why, you little... And she says this. That delicious life of yours. Now, how would you try and do it to me then? Izuku basically breaks out of his bindings. Izuku starts running away. Izuku says this. I'll be doing your whole thing, finding that Lemony Snicket guy, but I'm not doing that. As she says this. Oh, maybe next time, Izuku. Izuku starts running away instantly. So yeah, after Izuku gets back to his mansion, Izuku decides to try and find this Lemony Snicket guy. Even though he's in the human world, which Izuku doesn't know how to get there. Ezekiel was pretty confused how to get there until he remembered there was this company, or this how do I say it, this place known as Imp City. Apparently there's this little what do you call it, this little place known as the Immediate Murder Professionals, or Imp as it's usually called. Ezekiel decides to go there because Ezekiel heard that the leader or the boss of that whole company is wielding a book that allows him to basically go to the human world because their job is basically just, well, basically killing sinners. Well, like for example, if they want somebody killed, like for example, a guy that ruined them or something, or got a grudge on, well, the immediate murder professionals would gladly do it because they have a special book which allows them to basically go to, well, to the human world. And if you don't realize that, well, they're the protagonists from, well, Hell of a Boss. So, yeah. So, Izuku basically goes off with, well, with Big Fist, or the nickname of, well, Kendo. So, yeah. So, Izuku starts going off as Izuku sees, well, half and half, also known as Shoto Todoroki. As Shoto says this, "Hey, Knight, what are you doing?" Izuku says this, "I got another job to do. Apparently, Velvet, she said she wanted somebody killed. As, well, she was leapt up in surprise. As she says this, wait, the Velvet? Like one of the three V's? Izuku says this, yeah. As she says this, well, can I come? Well, because I kind of used all my money, and I really want to get to some pay. Izuku says this, um, sure. So, Izuku brings, well, her into, well, his, well, pretty nice looking car. It's basically like a mix of a, what do you call it? One of those like cars that usually like bring dead bodies, and a dragster. Yeah, that's basically what it is. But unlike dragsters, well, thankfully it basically allows you to turn because, well, if you know, well, FP, and if you don't know what are those acronym, that acronym, well, let me give you a hint. Eight, like eight, then wait for a second. Carnival Phantasm. You have to get from that acronym. Just take a bet. Just um find out about that. It starts with letter F, basically. It also starts with basically with C. Yeah. And let me and also, if you guess this right, I will do that what if. Okay. It's basically the character that I'm talking about. Well, he was a character in, well, he's from Fate Carnival Phantasm, which, if you don't know, it's basically a part of the Fate series. I'll give you a hint. He is known as Lancer in the Fate timeline, or at least in Fate Unlimited Blade Works, also known as Fate or the Fate thing. Not Fate what's that called? The Fate Grand Order, because it's in a different timeline. Basically, Fate is just completely complicated. You have to guess what's the name of that character, or his true name, because, well, it's basically, it's basically like a battle royale where, well, famous, like, mythical creatures, heroes, basically like that, basically come back to life and basically, well, work with masters, which is what they're usually called. Those heroes are called servants, which basically are like, well, basically they're just like, so they can get the Holy Grail, basically. And if you can guess who's that Lancer's true name is, well, I will gladly do the What If Deku Was in Fate series, because, well, I've been planning this for a long time. So yeah, back to the story. Izuku, after getting over there to Imp City, well, Imp City, let's just say this place is pretty run down. It's filled with how do I say it, unsavory people. Izuku sees the large sign saying immediate murder professionals or imp, and Izuku goes through the door. As Izuku sees a bolt of a crossbow bolt coming towards him, as Kendo basically grabs it by creating a gigantic fist. But not only that, her fists are made from bone because if you don't know um how you die in your old life, basically when you're back in the human world, basically reflects what you look like in hell. Like for example, Izuku, because Izuku fell off, he gets wings representing how he well died, I guess. um Izuku basically arrives there, um and when Izuku's about to get shot by the crossbow, Kendo just basically grabs it and basically does that. Izuku says this: alright, who the hell did that? As a small imp with white hair and horns, wearing some sort of suit resembling some sort of train conductor, like a train conductor type outfit, he says this: oh, I'm really sorry, sir. As he stops, as he says this: wait, you're the famous moonwalker. The Azuki says this: the what? As he says this: the one of the legendary assassins of this place, of Pentagram City, or the cannibal colony. Uh, as he starts getting a little bit afraid, Azuki says this: so why are you afraid? Anyway, I just want to talk to your boss. As they hear the sound of boots. As he says this: all right. So who's there? As Izuki says this: so you must be. Wait for a second. So you must be Mr. Blitzo, the leader of IMP, right? As he says this. Correct. What I can do for you, Mr. Walker? Izuki says this: just call me Knight. So, I want to ask you. I want to, find this guy. As he says this. Find what guy? Izuki says this: apparently he's in the human world. It's for my other job. After all, I am the leader of of an assassination guild. As he says this, right? Izuki says this: I need your so-called book so I can just go to the human world and basically kill him. Nothing else, nothing more. As he says this, um, sure. So, um, I need. Let me just ask Luna, my cute little daughter. Ezekiel says this: oh yeah, you you imps are allowed to basically reproduce, unlike us sinners. As he says this: oh yeah. Hey Luna, as Izuku sees a freaking hellhound. Izuku says this: wait, your daughter is a goddamn hellhound? As he says this: oh, adopted, I meant. As the hellhound by the name of Luna says this: so what the fuck you want, Blitzo? As he says this: um, it seems that these guys want to go to the human world. As she says this: suit yourselves. I don't really give a fuck. As she basically throws the book at Izuku's face, causing his mask to basically break a little bit. Izuku says this: God fucking damn it. Now I have to fix this. Anyway, so I don't really know how to work this. So as he says this, Luna, can you please come with them? As Luna says this, oh, fine. So yeah, Luna is going to be staying with Izuku for now because after the whole Izuku killing Lemony Snicket thing, he's going to basically come back here. So yeah. So wait for a second. So yeah. So Luna says this. So you're um Why are you wearing a mask? Or even if it's a mask? Well, this mask kind of makes me feel cool, I guess. And besides, half of my face looks kind of creepy, not gonna lie. As she says this. Alright, so all three of them basically go onto the outside of the IMP facility, or should I say building. Yeah, building, because it's just basically just some sort of building that they purchased many years ago, I guess. So Luna basically waves her hands using the book as it creates a portal to the human world. As Luna says this. What the heck? I never seen a place like this. Most of the time we're usually gone to Ezekiel says this. It seems the portal basically brings it to Japan. As she says this. Joe, what? What is that? Some sort of weird dish? As all three of them just look up at her as they said this. It's a freaking country, you idiot. As she says this. Alright, what the fuck? Anyway, let's just go. I just want to get some. I just want to basically go to sleep already. So, yeah. So, Luna goes first. As for the rest of them, as for Izuku. So, yeah. So, they were basically on top of basically a building. Izuku says this. Ugh, this feels nice. As Luna transforms into a human, Izuku says this. Huh, I heard of this. You hellhounds have magic, right? As she says this. Yeah, it allows us to basically turn into humans. So, as Izuku says this, just wait for a second. So, Izuku's body starts changing, turning into red mist as he transforms into this. Yeah, that is why I keep that for a while. That's Izuku's human form. Basically, Izuku's other special ability is basically allowing him to basically turn into human, or like a human form, or shape shifting. So, because Izuku came from hell, or at least how do I say it, kills so many demons. It gave him a special lock that he gotten from a random demon that he killed many years ago, or at least a few weeks ago. Izuku, after getting that lock, allows him to basically turn into a human. Just as long as it's the lock, just as long as the lock basically stays on him. So yeah. So Izuku says this. Not bad. But unfortunately, my ears still look more elf-like. As Luna says this. Anyway, how about you two? As they look at Boto and um Kendo. As Kendo says this. I mean, there's still quirks here, right? So we can just play them off as like quirks, I guess. As for, wait for a second. Shoto, she says this. Yeah, maybe we can just play them off as like our quirks. Ezekiel says this. Yeah. So, they hear some sounds sounding like a riot. So, Izuku goes off, basically looks down from, the roof to the, ground. Izuku sees a parade. Apparently, the signs say, end heroism now, end villains now. Saying that and several of these people are saying, end the hero society now. They're nothing more than tyrants. Basically saying like that. Mostly the signs say that. Izuku says this. So, what's happening? As Shoto says this. Maybe they're done with the heroes? As wait for a second. As Luna says this. What the heck? I thought demons were not allowed to basically go into the human world. Ezekiel says this. You never heard? Well, humans basically gain these special powers known as quirks. Ezekiel just basically explains. As she says this. Okay. I'm guessing that's supposed to be a blessing. Ezekiel says this, more like a fucking curse. It turned people prideful, thinking that they're better than everybody else. Basically, turning them prideful if they get a super powerful quirk. Well, they're considered as gods. But for people that basically are quirkless, like me back in the past, they consider them inhuman, basically bullying them, even killing them just because they're worthless. As Luna says this, I mean, it is the human way. That is why I think humans are nothing more than scummy assholes. As they see, well, the parade stopping at a little area, and that area is agency where they start well chucking, let's just say, dead body parts, mostly body parts of well dead animals. As they said this, you killed our parents, you killed our friends because you're nothing more than assholes, tyrants. They started throwing rocks as well, some even using some quirks. Ezekiel says this, so I'm guessing those people are basically people that were shunned by society itself. As Shoto says this, agreed. As one of the heroes arrived, as it's a man with a man has the man looks like he has well a centaur type body. He basically has like well a alligator for lower half, and he also has well flaming hair. As he says this, all right, everybody stop. You know that I'm a hero, right? So I can just burn you all down. As the people start saying, the tyrant, as they started chucking all of these rocks, even some using their quirks at them. As several policemen arrive, as they basically start shooting at them, saying, "Get out of here, you civilians." Izuku says this. Interesting. Anyway, let's just go and find somewhere that's where we can stay for now. As Luna says this. Fine. For Kendo, she says this, right? As for Shoto, she says, okay. So, yeah. That site was interesting. So, they decide to, stay at a shitty looking. How do I say it? It's pretty shitty. Pretty shitty. Like, Izuku sees that there's several rats all over this apartment. Izuku says this, can I live here for now? As the guy says this, why sure. As he basically grabs well his ear. Not really, like he puts his finger in his ear as he eats the freaking earwax. Izuku says this, what the fuck? So, Izuku and the rest of his, well, team go into the apartment as the apartment is like, how do I say it? Just imagine like well like just imagine like your like your weeb friends like room, or a college student's room, just filled with like video games like in the side, some like little trash bags over there. Then there's like how do I say it? Like cockroaches going inside of the TV. Basically, it basically looks like that. Izuku says this. What the fuck? As well, wait for a second. As Luna says this. This place looks trashy. As for Izuku, he says this. Agreed. As Shoto says this. At least he got some character. As well, Kendo says this. Character, are you sure? There's literally a goddamn like there's some mushrooms growing in the side of the room over there. As Shoto says this. Never noticed that. Izuku says this. Oh, let's just rest up for now. Then we can basically hunt down who this limited sticky guy. As they agree as they basically just sit around and turn on the TV. Apparently, there's this movement saying that, well, a movement, basically, there's this, well, group saying that heroes should do their job better, even saying that heroes should, basically be ended. Even, well, some people are basically started going into their side. Apparently, their whole, like, shtick is basically just, creating a brand new hero society where heroes are actually good, saying that the heroes now are basically corrupted. Azuku sees that one of the news helicopters arrived at, well, UA, as several of these, well, protesters arrived and they started chucking out, well, blasts of, well, energy, and also some rocks, just some typical stuff. Some of the heroes are basically trying to hold them off, even some of the UA teachers. The students were watching on, basically terrified. Some even doubting that they should be heroes. As Izuku sees the helicopter going towards a boy, as that boy is Bakugo Katsuki, the person that made him kill himself. He got into UA. Izuku was pissed off. Izuku turns off the TV. Izuku says this, let's just go to fuck to sleep, I guess. So, everybody was sleeping in the same bed because the other bed is just, well, just imagine like the worst smell that you can think of, but times 11. Just imagine that. Just smells like, how do I say it? Uh, just imagine the smell. Just imagine it. Just the worst smell, but times 11. So, Izu was sleeping right next to a furry, a half and half woman, and a maid. That's definitely not weird. So, yeah, so I hope you liked the video, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.